and welcome to the Tavern Chat podcast. I am your host, Eric Tenkar, your bartender in the OSR, your main proprietor at the Tenkar's Tavern blog, Discord server, MeWe group, Facebook group, that Twittering thing and Instagram stuff. Yes, I am now on antibiotics again, which means I'm still not drinking. Oh, God help me. Got my wonderful tap. Can't use it. Maybe I'll treat myself on Easter Sunday to a good pint. But yes, I'm on antibiotics again for the wonderful secondary infection, and they seem to be working. I feel almost a complete 180 from yesterday. So for those keeping score at home, what is this? How many times have I been sick this year? I already want to scrape 2020 off. Jesus. So, first things first, we got a voicemail from none other than Tim Short, Gothridge Manor. So, let's listen to Tim. It's short, so just, listen to Tim.
Hey Eric, this is Tim. Hey man, so sorry to hear you got sick again. It's just awful. So take care of yourself, get well soon, stay well forever. All right, take care.
Thank you, Tim. Yeah, it's been one of those years. Enough is enough, right? At least from my side. So since we're on the topic, we're talking about the pandemic. There's an interesting article over at SyFy.com, and I'll include a link in the show notes. And it's about D&D and virtual tabletops. And what I found very interesting is they got to speak with Doug Davison. Now, Doug is the president and the owner of Smiteworks USA, which is Fantasy Grounds. Now, what do you got here? We have seen a huge spike in users. Doug Davison, president and owner of Smiteworks USA, tells SyFy Wire. It's becoming a mandatory thing where that's the only way people can still get together and game. I mentioned this, right? Davison estimates a spike of about tenfold as 6,000 or 7,000 new users signed up for Fantasy Grounds in the past couple of days before our conversation last Thursday. Roll20 has seen a notable increase in new users as well, and not just in the United States. Nolan T. Jones, Roll20's co-founder and managing partner, says the site saw an initial surge in Italy, which was hit hard by the coronavirus in early March. That allowed us to do some preparation and be working to figure out what was the next realms on this were, explaining that it helped Roll20 prepare for a similar influx of first-time players for when things got bad in the U.S. There was a day last week where we had more Italians sign up for the service than we had Americans. We've never had that before. Now, folks, think about it. You really are. I mean, people aren't playing at the general tables again, right? Vast majority of gaming game stores are closed, and who wants those who might have been exposed in their home, right? You don't want to bring that to your family. So virtual tabletops are the way of the future. Now, I'm not saying that when this social distancing disappears or is put on the back burner that VTTs are going to go back to where they were. They're not. They're going to definitely have an increased force of play, because here's the thing. VTTs, when you combine them with voice and video, they do a very good job of coming fairly close to your face-to-face tabletop gaming. And what I mean by that is it allows your group to bond. And if you can bond with people that are across the country, across the world, you've got a gaming group. And does it really matter whether you're sitting across from the table spilling Mountain Dew and throwing Cheetos at people, or if you're doing the privacy of your own home with the cat pan to your right, which is what I'm doing? There's a convenience factor to it. I find that VTTs, when you come down to it, when you have adult responsibilities, when you're, quote, adulting, a VTT means you cut out like 3 or 4 hours in a day, probably on a night, for gaming. Whereas if you have to meet face to face, If you're hosting it, you got to clean and prep and then clean up afterwards. And if you're a player, you gotta get yourself to the game. And a lot of it as an adult isn't walking distance. When I was playing it against her out in Long Island, my drive was about an hour and 15, an hour and a half from Queens going out, and probably about 50 minutes coming back. And it was fun. Don't get me wrong. I had a great time. But the advantage of a virtual tabletop means that if I'm when the game is done, I turn off the VTT and I can now socialize with Rach or go watch TV. I'm home. I don't have to. VTTs are like telecommuting. Working from home, VTTs are very similar. And I think that with this whole social distancing because of the current pandemic, that not just showing it, but they are going to be a huge thing in the future. And if somebody can design a VTT that makes you feel like you're sitting at a table with your friends, really makes it big. I'm not gonna say how they could do it, but if you capture that vibe, you're gonna mint cash. You're gonna have your own dollar bill press. It won't be counterfeit either. Just a thought, just an idea. So, folks, there's the point where I say it, and I'm fucking annoying, but fuck you. I care about you. I care about me. I care about your family. I care about my family, our circle of friends, our community. 6 feet. Maintain that social distance. Wash your fucking hands. 20 seconds. Soap and water, or that, scale gel, as we used to call it when I was working. The disinfectant jelly thing. We can't game without you, okay? So you got to maintain your health. You got to avoid the coronavirus, man. You got to avoid the 19, dude. So, folks, as always, be safe, be well. God bless. Roll those dice and roll them well. And I will talk with you all, tomorrow's. All right, folks, later.